How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys having a great and exceptional day. Turn the music down. I'm talking a little bit lower today because my allergies are acting up. So hopefully everybody's having a great day. So this is the 30th edition of today's forecast. We're all going to die. I usually mock the media. But for once, I can say there is a lot of doom and gloom going on in the world. There's not much positivity. And the positivity I will point out in today's world is one thing. And that positivity has everything to do with people putting out support to the local communities, donating to their food banks, whether it's food or money, volunteering their time to help out people who are in need of financial assistance. I will say that much. So definitely shout out to everybody that's doing those great things out there. All right, so let's get to the first one. So I didn't realize this. So since the pandemic, a lot of bars and nightclubs have closed down. Now, since the pandemic, a lot of things have changed tremendously. And with that being said, a lot of things have changed. A lot of stores have gone out of business. I mean, great example, TGI Fridays, Red Lobster, even a lot of your major corporations are cutting back instead of going, shutting down locations. But that's just the ones I remember off the top of my head. But, Walmart's put a hiring freeze out there. Amazon's talking about, cutting a certain amount of jobs within a certain amount of time. Starbucks is closing a multitude of their locations. I mean, unfortunately, there were too many Starbucks. And nowadays, they've been a successful company, but let's just be realistic. More and more people, because of how expensive everything is, Starbucks was considered a luxury coffee. People can go to the store and get, for one cup of coffee, they can get 5 to 10 cups of coffee for paying what they would pay for Starbucks. So, I buy Folgers and I pay about $8.50 for the Folgers that I get, and that lasts me for about a week. So you do the math. You know what I mean? You do the math on that. If I get an even bigger can, that's $16. So that's 2 drinks. That's a week and a half worth of coffee, as opposed to paying that amount of money for 2 to 3 coffees and whatnot within one day. So I'll leave it at that. But anyways, a lot of nightclubs have been closing down, and bars. And the one thing is, a lot of younger people, they don't like to drink as much as previous generations, or they don't like to drink as much as previous generations. So a lot of them, they like to, marijuana is much more popular with the youth today compared to alcohol, especially since marijuana is basically legal in most states. Or in a sense that other states just don't have time to really be prosecuting people who has like a joint or two, or a blunt or two, or has a bong in their house or something to that effect. They got more important crimes to worry about, But anyways, the article that I read the other day says the bars and nightclub industry has grappled with turbulent changes over the past 5 years, primarily catalyzed by the pandemic. A strong rebound has followed as a testament to the industry's resilience. Nonetheless, failing interest in alcohol consumption among younger consumers, as I've talked about earlier, coupled with a record high inflation, has depressed demand for drinking and nightlife activities, as these are deemed non-essential. And they are non-essential. I mean, let's just be realistic. My choice of drink is a Bacardi. I can get a bottle for $15 to $18. That's a couple of drinks. If I pay that same price for one drink at majority of the nightclubs or bar establishments that I go to, or restaurants, etc. And then because of today's high inflationary times, it's like going out is like back in my parents' and grandparents' day. Going out to eat is a luxury. Going out to a bar is a luxury. And for the last couple of years, I didn't look at it like that, but now I do. Me going to an airport, having a couple of drinks with a layover, me just traveling and having a good time. All that has become more of a luxury. And shout out to the people that are traveling right now, because I know more and more flights have been canceled or rescheduled, and since yesterday or Friday, and if the government shutdown continues, more and more flights will be canceled. So the airspace is in turmoil. Everything right now really is in turmoil. Doing today's forecast, we're all gonna die. I didn't sincerely think I didn't sincerely think that 3 weeks from now, the time I did the last one, that the government would still be shut down. So it's interesting times. Article says, nonetheless, stable alcohol consumption and demand for socialization among affluent customers keep demand afloat. Due to a low pandemic-based year, industry revenue has experienced an annualized growth rate of 12.8% over the 5 years to 2025 current year, reaching $39.0 billion. In 2025, revenue is expected to rise 1.2%, with a profit accounting for 5.8% of the industry. And the main reasons are, people are more health conscious nowadays, and alcohol is not the best for you. Bars and nightclubs must focus on serving what customers can't easily replicate at home, like mixed drinks, draft beers. I think it's bigger than that. I think that it needs to, you have to have, so Vegas is very expensive. But then the last time I actually, and I'm an older guy, but 3 years ago when I turned, 2 years ago, when I turned 40 years old, that was the last time I really enjoyed being at a nightclub, because I was at I like to call it, I was at an expensive nightclub with a bunch of adults. It really was a 30 and up club. So you saw people in my age range and people much older than me there. But the atmosphere and the ambiance of the whole place was amazing. So that's what made me want to, I spent a lot of money to do it, but that's what made me enjoy the event. I mean, going to the establishment. But I don't live in Las Vegas. I'm not going to go to Las Vegas, even if I was rich all the time, because, I'm an older guy. That's kind of out of my system. But having that opportunity to do something to that effect was much more fun. But your average nightclub in your average town is going to be a boring, basic spot. So what's the point of going to it, And like they said, more people are more health conscious nowadays, and nobody likes the feeling of looking disgusting or waking up feeling, lethargic and hangovers and all that other crap. All right. So also says, college towns are great locations for bars and nightclubs because of its high concentration of college towns. The Great Lakes region has the most bars and nightclubs in the country. I did not realize that. Competition between bars and nightclubs is fierce and growing. Owners must stand out from the pack employing highly skilled workers concerning a niche market or providing products and services that outclass their competitors. But let's keep it real. A lot, when it comes down to college nowadays, a lot more younger people are rethinking it because it's so expensive. So the idea of most regular everyday working people sending their kids off to college so they can get up to their ears in debt, up to $150,000 to $200,000 in debt, just so that they can get the college experience, isn't what it used to be. So I foresee more college towns losing revenue because they're going to be losing students. A lot of specifically younger men are going into the skilled trades. They're going becoming entrepreneurs, and they are going into the military. So with that being said, it's just like they need they want to do something different. Their focus is elsewhere. That's the best way to put it. Their focus is elsewhere. So, and then with today's changing job market, a lot of young women are not interested in going to college because, the AI is replacing a lot of jobs. Is there an AI bubble coming? Some experts say yes. I'm not going to act like I'm one of those experts, but an AI, is it as efficient as most companies want it to be? Not necessarily. However, the U.S. is going through much changes when it comes to the economy. A million jobs just disappeared within the month of October. So once again, the idea of going out to a nightclub, even going out to eat to a restaurant or whatnot, it's just not as appealing. I mean, heck, I was out today and I passed by restaurants and they look like ghost towns. And I just foresee that more and more restaurants, unfortunately, become more ghost towns due to the fact that people can't afford to go out to eat anymore. I foresee more and more single family neighborhoods becoming vacant or just owned by, like a BlackRock, and just become renter neighborhoods. Or you're going to have basically people who come from immigrant backgrounds see 2 to 5 families living in a house and whatnot in order to sustain itself. Why? Because the U.S. economy basically is in a tank, But And then like a friend of mine was talking about, they love to go out and eat, and every now and then, they like to go to a bar and drink and things of that nature. Okay, great. However, their whole thing is, well, I can do the same thing in my house. I can just go to the liquor store, get liquor, beer, wine, whatever the case may be. I can cook my own food and I can enjoy myself and have my own little barbecue, cook out at the house for a much lower price, and I don't have to leave the house. So if I do, quote unquote, exceed the legal limit of being drunk and whatnot, what do? I just stay at the house. I'm in my own home. You're going to see more and more of that happening nowadays because, the idea of going out, once again, is going to become more of a luxury, a privilege, and not a right. If the United States, in my personal opinion, continues on this trajectory of, job losses and, people not being able to get access to capital in order for them to start a business. So we'll see what happens and go from there. More and more restaurants have closed down because of that, not just bars, because some people just like to go out to eat. Some people aren't drinkers, that's fine. But I foresee more and more specifically chain restaurants like you saw with Red Lobster, like you saw with TGI Fridays, and so many other restaurants that have closed down because of the lack of people patronizing those establishments. And I myself am more of a fan of mom and pop restaurants because the quality of food is usually much better, quality of the service is much better, and the experience is much better. But once again, nowadays, it's just overrated, just like a lot of things are. So 2026, I think you'll see less and less people going to concerts. I think you'll see less and less people because I foresee a credit card bubble happening because eventually the chickens are going to come home to roost because there's so many people in debt when it comes to credit card payments, and so many people behind on their credit cards, and people nowadays have to choose between buying food, paying rent, or making a credit card payment. So people predict the AI bubble. I foresee a credit card bubble within 2026 because if more and more people default on their credit cards, then it could put the U.S. in a precarious situation where more of the credit card companies say we're not going to issue out as much credit because more and more people are defaulting and we're losing money. So, but we'll see what happens as far as defaulting on their credit card payments. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I could be wrong. All right. Now, this was an interesting article that I was actually reading yesterday when I was at the gym. And here it goes. All right. So the Federal Reserve Bank of New York Center for Microeconomic Data today issued its quarterly report on household debt and credit. The report shows total household debt increased by $197 billion. So it increased basically by 1% in Q3 2025 to $18.59 trillion. The report is based on data from New York Fed's nationally representative consumer credit panel. It includes a one-page summary of key takeaways and their supporting data points. Household debt balances are growing at a moderate pace, with delinquency rates stabilizing, said Dong-Ho Lee, economic research advisor at the New York Fed. The relatively low mortgage delinquency rates reflect the housing market's resilience, driven by ample home equity and tight underwriting standards. But remember, a lot of people who are in the market to try to sell their homes, it's becoming more of a, depending on the market specifically, but I'm saying it's becoming more of a buyer's market because a lot of people can't afford to buy homes right now. And in 2025, I've seen way more homes from Ohio to Indiana to California to Texas to Montgomery, Alabama, go on the market, and the price cuts have been insane because people are not able to sell their homes at the price that they want. And a lot of real estate agents have just had to walk away from home sellers because they're being unrealistic in regards to what they could actually get for the property. So at the end of the day, the mortgage market is still nothing compared to 2007 or 2008 timeframe. You don't see foreclosures popping up all over the place. But in 2026, could that change? Who knows? I'm not an economist. I'm not going to act like it. I am. Student loans, outstanding student loan debt stood at $1.65 trillion. Missed federal student loan payments that were not previously reported to credit bureaus between 2020 and 2024 are now appearing in credit reports. Consequently, because obviously the student loan payment pause / forgiveness, consequently, student loan delinquency rates remained elevated after a sharp rise in the first half of 2025. On average, 9.4% of aggregate student debt was reported as 90 plus days delinquent or in default, as compared to 7.8% in 2025 Q1 and at 10.2% in 2025 Q2. So it's getting interesting at the end of the day. And like I said, to me, I foresee in 2026 the credit bubble. Now people are predicting the AI bubble for one reason. Once again, they're making predictions. Is this absolutely 100% accurate? No, that's why they call it a prediction. But people are making the prediction of AI, the AI bubble, because they're like, yeah, AI is growing at a big pace and whatnot, but is it really making people a lot of money for the long term? That's up for that's up for debate. That's up for debate. That we just have to see where, because it's still, as far as the acceleration of AI, it's new. AI is not new as a whole, but the acceleration rate of it is new as a whole. And once again, let's just be real. And this is my mindset. If the majority of the American population does not have jobs, that means corporate America doesn't have a customer, and that means federal, state, and local government does not have tax revenue. It's really that simple. So if the plan for a lot of people that are at the top is for people to actually ensure that becoming a job, and I will quote Elon Musk on this, whether you love him or hate him is irrelevant. He says having a job will become a luxury. If that is the case in the United States of America, then this whole thing called the U.S. basically burns to the ground, because if nobody can have a job, that means nobody can pay bills. That means that all the population becomes poor and living on the streets. And that means, let's just break it down. That means water companies go out of business, electric companies go out of business, governments go out of business, corporations go out of business. If you don't have a customer, your customer has to have money. A grocery store is open because they're selling a product, and they sell that product by somebody actually paying for it. Restaurant, the government remains, stable when they have a tax revenue from sales tax, income state tax, personal property tax, whatever the case may be. Okay, Apple, Google, they have customers that pay them for various different reasons. If they don't have that, then they don't have a business. But what do I know? So it's an interesting time that we're living in. It's an interesting world, and we'll just go from there. Hopefully by the end of this week, Congress gets their stuff together and they open the government back up, because I just can't imagine Thanksgiving in the United States of America in 2025. And this isn't political based. Trust me, I don't do politics, I do economics. But I just can't imagine in America having, most of the airports basically not being able to operate at full capacity. One of the busiest time of years for people to travel, number one. Number two, for the airline industries, the airports, the local businesses, the Airbnbs, the hotels, the Ubers, the restaurants, to make money off of people traveling. And then let's not forget the tax revenue that's collected from all levels of government when people travel like that during the Thanksgiving holiday season. So, but hey, I could be wrong. I could be 30 days from now, I could be doing it to the 31st edition of Today's Forecast, We're All Gonna Die. And then be like, hey, Larry, we proved you wrong. The government's still shut down. Hey, I could be proved wrong. It is what it is. But we'll see what happens. And go from there. But we can all just hope for the best at this point, because anybody hoping for anything less is just a weak, pathetic coward. But I'll leave it at that. So, anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully everybody has a great evening, and go from there. We'll see what happens, and keep this thing going. Have a good night. Do great free things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves on your liberal like for the same Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life. I'm out. So, a lot of people ask, what is Larry's Anything Goes, LLC? It's real simple. Do affiliate marketing in regards to cryptocurrency affiliations like Coinbase, WEBULL, Crypto.com, et cetera, and so forth, stocks, bonds with Acorns and Stash, because these are the vehicles that I utilize to invest in. Number two, I sell products like the shirt you see on me and the hat that you see right here. Make Money Moves hat, Make Money Moves shirt, and I make content. That is, at the end of the day, essentially that's what Larry's Anything Goes is. This is a new promo video for the company, and that's it. So, as I always say, do the great 3 free things. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves so you can live like fools. Say in Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life. And that's all she wrote. Any questions? And thank you again for anybody who's ever bought from my store. Thank you anybody who's ever contributed to my channel, from liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, super chats, cash apps, PayPals, Venmos, all that good stuff. I just want to say it's greatly appreciated. I do this for love and passion. To be able to monetize is just an extra layer of add-on, so I just want to put that out there. Take care.
Mike, now.
Oh, you want something too, old man? Huh?
No. Get off your ass and get in this car, boy. I don't know.